Hi there, and welcome to the Profitable Quiz Funnel Design course. I am so excited that you decided to take this course. Now, my name is Elvis Okenwa, and I will be your host. I currently work as a customer success manager for LeadQuizzes, and over my period of working with LeadQuizzes, I have created hundreds of quizzes for different businesses in different industries. As such, this course is modeled to teach you everything you need to know start to finish and how you can set up an effective quiz funnel for your business in order to generate leads and generate sales, as well as to gather information about your audience, which can help you better understand them, better target them, and so on. Now, in this first lesson, we're going to be looking at the psychology behind quizzes. All right. Now, we're going to be showing you how you can find your quiz hook, the different types of quizzes that there are, and the components of a high converting quiz. All right. Now, before we jump in, I'm just going to quickly share my screen with you so we can go through the presentation together. All right. Psychology behind quizzes. Now, there are a lot of psychology behind quizzes that most people don't know about. All right. Now, those quizzes that you see floating around your newsfeed, your social media platforms, they aren't just there for fun. They're inherently designed with some element of human psychology in mind, which can make them irresistible. And that's why sometimes you go online, you see those quizzes, you quickly jump in to take it because they were designed with that element of human psychology in mind. And that's why most people jump in, they take the quizzes, they fill in the form just to see the result they're going to get at the end of this quiz. All right. Now, if you can take your mind back to those times of magazine quizzes, I remember when I was younger, my dad brings back home a magazine. I quickly flip to the last page where you have those quizzes. Now, remember how interesting they were to take. Now, the only difference between then and now is that those quizzes got digitized and people saw the psychology behind them and started using them for lead generation and to improve sales. Okay. Now, I'm going to run through 4 different psychologies behind quizzes to give you a better understanding. Okay. Now, the first psychology is introspection and self-confirmation. Now, everybody wants to look inside themselves and find those things that will motivate, inspire, and attract them, all in an effort to understand themselves better. Now, if you notice, one of the greatest things that people struggle with is defining themselves, their identity, who they are, in a positive way. And quizzes help fulfill this need people have to define themselves. So every time you take a quiz, it usually confirms something that you already know or thought, So if you can make your quiz relate to those desires, it will be very powerful. Okay, so introspection, self-confirmation is the first psychology behind quizzes. Now, the second psychology is recognition and self-esteem. Okay, now we all want to share something about ourselves with others, but for example, you wouldn't just walk up to someone and tell them how amazing you are. That would be funny. So people use quizzes to give others a better identity, a better picture of who they are and what they care about. And because quizzes results are shareable, it works so well. So you take a quiz, you get to your results page, you see what result, and then you can share it with your friends. So recognition, self-esteem, everyone wants to share something about themselves. And quizzes create this avenue for you to be able to share a result with your social media network. So recognition, self-esteem is the second psychology behind quizzes. The third psychology is personal engagement. Okay. Now, when you share something with others, it's about building relationships, and this is why quizzes are popular because they create engagement. Now, they create engagement in 2 ways. One, the quiz feels like a conversation for the quiz taker. As you're going through the questions in the quiz, it feels like you're having a conversation. You that is taking the quiz. And secondly, when you share your quiz result, it lets you start a conversation with your social network. It creates that engagement. Businesses can use it to initiate relationship with your visitors, and it allows visitors to as well foster that relationship with their own network. Okay, so a business use quizzes to initiate a relationship with the visitor that comes to their website. Now the visitor takes the quiz, is excited by the result, he shares it with his own social network. So it creates that personal engagement, which is the third psychology behind quizzes. Now the fourth psychology is the Maslow hierarchy of need and how it goes with social media. Now, according to Maslow hierarchy of need, among the top two needs are self-esteem and self-actualization. Now, everyone wants to feel good and positive about themselves, and everyone wants to become the person that they have the potential of becoming. So if you create a quiz to hit on these two elements, it will automatically become a hit because it will evoke that positive emotion and self-worth, which is what everyone is looking for. All right. So the fourth psychology behind quizzes is the Maslow hierarchy and how it relates to social media. Now that we understand the psychology behind quizzes and why they are so powerful, the next question is, what can we use quizzes for? Okay. Now here are some examples I outlined. Now, first is you can use quizzes to collect leads, build brand exposure, sell products and services. In LeadQuizzes, we have a case study of Josh, the CEO of Snow Teeth Whitening. He was able to increase his email list by more than 19,000 new contacts, and he was able to sell 750 plus units, which was about $120,000 plus off the back of quizzes. So you can use it to collect leads, build brand exposure, and as well sell your product or service off the back of the quiz. All right, so that's the first use. The second is you can use it to improve and engage learning experience. Okay, so for example, you can create a vocabulary quiz. You can create a quiz that kind of tests your audience knowledge level. Okay, so if you have a quiz, how many of these words do you actually know? All right, or you have a quiz title, if you can score 90% on this math test, you're a genius, for example. Okay, so you can use it to provide an engaging learning experience for your audience. All right, so that's the second use. The third use is you can use it to reinforce knowledge after training. Okay, so if you have a training course, or let's say you have a webinar, after your audience have gone through the webinar, you can create a quiz that tests them on what they learned during the webinar. All right, and that way you can use to reinforce knowledge after they've gone through the training. So that is the third use for quizzes. And finally, you can create interactive surveys with quizzes. All right, so you can use this for surveys to gather more information about your audience and use that for market research purposes, for product optimization, you name it. So those are the four ways that we can use quizzes, or the four reasons why quizzes are important, how they can be used. Now, next, let's look at some of the reasons why quiz funnels are so effective, especially if you're looking to build your email list and you're starting from scratch. All right. Now, I have also outlined 4 reasons why building an effective email list is very important using quizzes. Now, the first is using quizzes, you get incredibly cheap leads. All right, incredibly cheap leads. Now, oftentimes, you can reduce the cost per lead from 30% to 90%, meaning if you're paying $2.50 to get an email subscriber on your email list, you can take that to 50 cents on the back of a quiz funnel. All right, now I have an example. We have Aaron Hill from Hill Financial, who one of our case studies here at LeadQuizzes, who was able to reduce their cost per lead by 77% off the back of a quiz funnel. So they were initially paying about $10 per email subscriber, and they were able to take this down to $2.32 using quizzes. So incredibly cheap leads. Now the second is incredibly high volume. All right, now people are often able, or businesses are often able to explode the growth of their email lists and audiences anywhere from 10x to 80x based on a quiz funnel. All right, so from 10x to 80x. So if you were generating 100 leads, or let's say 1,000 leads via your email subscriber before, you can take this to 10,000 or as well as 80,000 off the back of a quiz funnel. Now, an example is John Benson, one of our case studies as well at LeadQuizzes. Now, he was able, he works in the weight loss fitness space. He created a thyroid weight loss quiz, and he was able to generate 110,000 leads in 2 months at the rate of 39 cents per lead. All right, so incredibly high volume is reason number 2. Now, the third reason is incredibly valuable data. Okay, now if you take a look at companies that are most valuable today, like Google, Facebook, Amazon, now one of the reasons why they are so valuable is because of the amount of data they have. All right, now they know everything about almost everyone. So the question is, how do small businesses or business owners compete in that type of a world? And the answer is quizzes, a quiz funnel. Now, using a quiz funnel, you can capture incredible amount of data, not just the name and email address, but the answers that they give to each question. You can capture this and put it in your CRM, and it becomes an asset for your business. And if at some point you want to sell your business, this is something that can increase the value of your business by almost 100x. So an example, we have Date ID as well, one of LeadQuizzes case studies. Now, he used the demographic data he gathered from his quizzes for their product development, for future prioritization, and to build customer personas. So these are the kind of things you can do from the data that you gather from the question answers that your audience answer in your quiz. So incredibly valuable data is the third way. And now the final one is high sales conversion. All right, now oftentimes you're able to double or triple your sales on the back of a quiz funnel. And the reason for this is that you're able to customize the sales page. If you have a video, you can add it. You're able to customize the content, the case study, the stories, everything can be customized based on the answer the quiz taker gives to the questions in the quiz. All right, so that way it's personalized. When they're not answering the questions in your quiz, they get a result that is personal to them or to that's answer group, for example. And that's where you're able to send tailored messages, you're able to better target them. So high sales conversion rates. An example, we have Charles Lawrence. Remember, he's the founder of Gecko Squad, an advertising service that helps clients scale their business. Now, using Facebook ads to drive traffic to his LeadQuizzes quiz, he was able to generate about 800,000 in new businesses in less than 6 months. And he was able to generate about 4,000 new leads. So if you think about $800,000 in less than 6 months off the back of a quiz funnel, that is pretty amazing. Okay, so high sales conversion rates, that is the final one. Now, next, let's look at how you can find your quiz hook. Very important. How can you find your quiz hook? But before we delve into how you can find your quiz hook, what is a quiz hook? Okay, now a quiz hook or a quiz title is the key to a successful quiz marketing funnel. Okay, now think about your quiz hook like the cover of a page. The right title can catch your audience attention and inspire or challenge them, to learn more, while the wrong title can attract the wrong type of people to your quiz. All right, so whenever you're creating a quiz, think about the quiz hook like the title of your book. You want to make sure you have your quiz hook dialed in properly. Okay, now let's look at some components of a great quiz hook. Right, now this example I have in here, are you overtraining or undertraining? You might be surprised by the results. Now, if you look at the components I have on the left-hand side, a quiz hook has to be short. It has to be easy to follow. It has to describe the quiz. It has to potentially solve a problem, and it has to create curiosity. Okay, so are you overtraining or undertraining? What is your metabolism type? Now if you look at those quiz titles, they are short, they're easy to follow. They describe the quiz. So if you take this quiz, are you overtraining or undertraining? Going through the questions, you're going to see it relates to your daily training regimen, okay? And that way it describes the quiz. In the results, you're going to see if you're overtraining or undertraining, all right? It potentially solves a problem. Okay, so if you're thinking, am I overtraining or undertraining? You see a quiz like this, you take it. At the end, you get to see, are you overtraining? Are you undertraining? And you get to see preferred solutions or next steps or what you can do. Okay, so it potentially solves a problem. Now, finally, it creates curiosity. All right, now this last point is very important. If you can create your quiz title in such a way that it creates that curiosity, you're going to have a lot of people clicking through the quiz. Okay, so are you overtraining or undertraining? All right, so let's say, for example, I go to the gym 3-4 times a week and I saw a title like this. Now I will want to jump in to figure out if I'm overtraining or undertraining. You know, so it creates that kind of curiosity. What is your metabolism type? You know, most people don't know their metabolism type. You know, a quiz like that, you get to that title, you want to jump in and have a look at it to get to see what your metabolism type is. Okay, so let's look at some other examples I have in here of great quiz titles or quiz hooks. Now we have, is content marketing right for your business? Short, easy to follow, it creates curiosity, it describes the quiz. Is workouts helping you lose weight? Still follows all the same parameters. How much do you actually know about home insurance? It still follows all the parameters, all right? So keep it short, easy to follow, it should describe the quiz, it should solve a problem, and most importantly, your title should create curiosity so you have people clicking through to see what you have to say. Okay, now next I'm going to show you 4 research strategies that you can use to find your perfect quiz hook. All right, now the first is get inside Facebook groups. Okay, so go to Facebook, join those groups that you're talking about similar topics related to the business or the niche you're in. You know, look for those conversations that have a lot of engagements, a lot of comments. Now, in between those conversations, you're going to find gold. You're going to find what people are talking about, the issues they're facing, you know, what they would like to resolve. Okay, now in there, you can pick a quiz title based on the problems you're talking about. So get inside Facebook groups, inside LinkedIn groups, and do what I just said. Now, secondly, you can seek help from Q&A platforms. So if you go to Reddit, you go to Quora, you can, you know, seek help. Bear in mind, people have done similar things to what you want to do, you know, so don't try to reinvent the wheel. Try to see what others have done, and that way from there, you can gather your thoughts and come up with a great quiz title. You can also use Google. You know, if you Google quizzes, you're going to see a lot of quizzes that are out there on Google, you know, so you can use this to, you know, get inspiration. All right, now finally, you can find those blogs, popular blogs in your niche. Look at the topics you're talking about, look at the conversations going on, what are they writing about? And based on that, you can come up with a quiz title. Okay, so those are 4 ways that you can use to research to find a perfect quiz hook. Okay, next, let's look at the different type of quizzes that we have. Okay, now we have the BuzzFeed style quiz. Now these quizzes are fun, they're entertaining, you know, they cast a wide net of your audience, they have the potential to go viral, and they have that sharing component. You know, so if you go online, you'll see a lot of BuzzFeed style quizzes. Which of this Marvel superhero are you? You know, which of this Disney character are you? All those are BuzzFeed style quizzes. They're fun, they're entertaining, you know, they're interesting to take. They have the potential to go viral. Okay, now this example I have in here with Disney villain to kill off and will guess your zodiac sign. You know, it's fun, it's entertaining. You want to jump in and take this quiz. So those are BuzzFeed style quizzes. Okay, now the next is personality quizzes. Now personality quizzes, they are highly engaging quizzes that help quiz takers learn something about themselves. Okay, so for example, what is your metabolism type? Upon completion, you will find out what your metabolism type is. You know, what is your business strength persona? Upon completion, you're going to figure out what your business strength persona is. So all these are personality quizzes, all right? They could be more serious, you know, or they could be like a BuzzFeed style quiz, you know. So for example, which of these Marvel superheroes are you? It's a personality quiz, because upon completion, you're going to see what persona you relate to in terms of Marvel superheroes. All right, so personality quiz is the next type of quiz. The third is IQ-based quizzes. All right, now this kind of quizzes, they play on the human's emotions or human's drive, rather, to be smart and right. So it's a great way for you to segment your audience based on the level of knowledge they have or expertise they have in a subject matter. You see most educational businesses using IQ-based quizzes. So for example, you can create an assessment. How much do you know about skincare? All right. So someone that is a skincare expert can jump in to say how much you know about skincare. Right. So you can use it in different ways. But the whole point of this kind of quiz is that it plays on the human drive to be smart, and it helps you segment your audience according to their knowledge or their expert level in a particular subject matter. All right. That's the third type of quiz, IQ-based quiz. The fourth type of quiz is the product quizzes. Now, product quizzes are perfect for e-commerce businesses, that have so many products, because it allows you to funnel your visitors based on the way they answer the questions in your quiz to a particular product or service. So you can say, for example, which of this 2017 Mercedes-Benz models is right for you, or which car is right for you in 2022. All right, so let's say you're a dealership and you sell cars. Based on the answers I give to the questions in this quiz, you can automatically take me to a recommended page for a particular car that suits the persona based on the way I answer the questions in the quiz. All right, so product style quizzes, great for e-commerce. Okay, now the final type of quiz is diagnostic quiz, or as I like to call it, do I have a problem quiz? Okay, now this kind of quizzes is perfect for helping people see if they have a problem, and it immediately prefers a solution. So are you at risk of thyroid disease? Are you at risk of heart disease? Okay, now upon completion, it lets you know if you're at risk or you're not at risk, and in the result page, it prefers a solution to both scenarios. All right, so it's great for B2B businesses, all right, and it pre-qualifies your leads as they move through your funnel. Okay, so diagnostic quiz, great for B2B, helps you pre-qualify your lead as they move through your funnel, and it's great for helping people see if they have a problem and then immediately prefers a solution. All right, so is content marketing right for you? For example, upon completion, you're gonna see, is it right for you? Is it not right for you? Are you spending too much money on your Facebook ads? All right, so those are examples of quiz titles under the diagnostic quiz space. Okay, now finally, we're going to talk about 7 tips on how you can create a high converting quiz. All right, so components of a high converting quiz, I'm going to give you 7 tips on how you can create a high converting quiz. Now, the first is know who you're targeting. Okay, before you can even start thinking about creating your own quiz, it's very essential that you determine who your target audience is. Okay, now you need to think about the kind of person you want to draw in with your quiz and how you can help with some of their issues or problems. Now you can start by pinpointing all the needs people you intend to target have, and then consider how your business or how your product can help them fulfill those needs or achieve their goals. Now, when creating a quiz, it's important to define your target audience for 3 main reasons. Now, if you have a target audience defined, you will know what quiz topic to use, all right, or what quiz topic or quiz hook best suits that particular audience or that particular audience profile. Now, you can also all right, now the second is you know exactly where to reach your audience, okay, after publishing the quiz, okay? So you know what quiz type tool or quiz topic to use, you know exactly where to reach out to them. So for example, most of them can be on Facebook, they can be on Google, they can be on LinkedIn, but if you don't have your target audience defined, you won't know exactly where they communicate. You won't know what platforms that they use for communication, Okay, so that's the second one. And the third one is so that you can address your audience directly once you know exactly what needs and problems they have. Your quiz questions will be directed towards that group or towards that audience because you know exactly what their needs are and what their problems are. Okay, so that is the first tip. Now the second tip is determine the end goal. Okay, now what is the main goal of your quiz? Okay, what do you expect your quiz to lead to? Okay, now you may simply want your quiz to educate your quiz takers or to get them to convert in some type of way, either by, let's say, signing up for a mailing list, buying a product, or inquiring about the product or service that you're offering. But the point is, it's really important that you work out the steps before you actually go into the quiz platform and start creating the quiz. All right. Now, for you to be able to create quality lead generation quiz, you need to know the kind of journey that you want to take your quiz takers on. Okay. Now, not only does having an end goal enable you convert your quiz takers, it also helps you to convert the right type of quiz takers, people who are interested in your product or service. All right, so very important, determine the end goal of your quiz. What is the point of this quiz before you start creating it? Okay, so that's the second tip. Regarding this tip, I have a very good example. Now, I remember Cavallo horse rider as an example, one of LeadQuizzes case studies. Now, their end goal was they wanted to grow their email list and at the same time educate a new market. All right, now they had a quiz titled, "Are you taking proper care of your horse?" You know, so the whole goal of this quiz was to share some of the benefits of using hoof boots instead of horseshoes in order to educate their target audience and try to persuade them that hoof boots might be a better fit for their horses than horseshoes. All right. Now the results they got were mind-blowing. You know, they were able to generate about 20,000 leads in a short space of time of people that are interested in improving horse care. Okay, now because they were able to determine the end goal, we want to generate email lists or leads, and we also want to educate in new markets. They were able to achieve this. Okay, now that is the second tip. The third tip is make the questions easy to follow. All right, now you don't want to write your quiz and make the questions difficult. You know, don't make someone think too much into the situation around the question. So yes or no questions, a couple of word answer questions perform best. All right, so make it easy to follow. All right, now the fourth one is do not reinvent the wheel. Okay, now look at quizzes that are performing well. Go to Google, go to Facebook group, go to Q&A platform. Look at those quizzes that are performing very well and match what they are doing. You know, you can look at LeadQuizzes proven templates. We have about 7 to 8 of them that were designed by experts. All right, so you don't need to go and reinvent the wheel. See what has already been done, and based on that, you can find inspiration or know what direction you want to take. Okay. The fifth is be compliant. This is very important. Now, if you are going to be advertising the quiz on social media platforms, Facebook, Google, LinkedIn, now you make sure that it meets the advertising platform guidelines. Okay, now you don't want a situation whereby you create your quiz, try to advertise, then you have one of these platforms ban your accounts because you did not meet the advertising platform guidelines. So make sure you go through the advertising platform guideline where you want to have your quiz or where you want to advertise your quiz, and make sure you're compliant with all your guidelines. Okay, now finally, write about something that you enjoy. Okay, when deciding on the quiz, write about something that you enjoy, something that you have knowledge of. That way it's easier, it's interesting, you know, because you're already an expert in that subject matter, you can teach your audience, you know, you can educate them because you already know, you already have the knowledge of the subject matter, you know. So don't go out of your way to write something that's you know nothing about or that you won't enjoy writing, because that way you won't be able to, you know, provide concrete information When your audience see the questions or the quiz results, they will know that you're probably a novice in that subject matter, or you didn't take the time out to do your research properly. So write about something you enjoy and something that you have knowledge about. Now that is my final tip. Okay. Now for the next lesson, we're going to jump into how you can create your quiz results, how you can create your quiz offers. We're going to also delve into how you can create your quiz questions, okay, and how you can set all this up in LeadQuizzes, our platform. All right, I'm going to show you step by step how you can add a cover page, add the questions, add the result page, add the form fields to generate the name, email, or whatever information you will generate from your leads on that lesson. So stay tuned for lesson 2, and I'll be seeing you soon. Have a great day.